All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to explore a truly mind-bending idea. What if our entire picture of reality, everything we think we know, is built on a flawed foundation? We're going to look at a radical new model called the totality, which is basically a whole new map of existence itself.
So, to even get started, we have to admit something. Our current scientific understanding of the universe has some deep, fundamental problems. And I'm not talking about small details. We're talking about huge cracks in the very foundation of modern physics and philosophy.
You have to ask, right? Why does reality seem so broken? We are staring down the barrel of some of science's greatest puzzles, paradoxes that just don't seem to fit together. But what if they're not separate problems at all? What if they're all just different symptoms of one single, massive misunderstanding?
Okay, Exhibit A, the hard problem of consciousness. Think about it. You've got this 3-pound lump of matter, your brain, and somehow all its little electrical and chemical processes create this rich, private inner world. Why does it feel like something to be you? Right now, science is just stumped. Then there's this thing called the vacuum catastrophe. Quantum theory predicts that empty space, nothing, should be absolutely seething with a colossal amount of energy. But when we actually go and measure it, it's basically zero. The theory isn't just a little bit off, it's wrong on a scale that's almost impossible to describe.
And finally, you've got quantum entanglement. This one's a classic. You can link two particles so that measuring one instantly, and I mean instantly, affects the other, even if they're on opposite sides of the universe. Einstein famously called it spooky action at a distance because, well, how is that even possible? It seems to break the cosmic speed limit.
Okay, so you've got consciousness, the energy of nothing, and this spooky entanglement. 3 gigantic and seemingly unrelated mysteries. But the model of the totality says, hold on, what if they're not unrelated at all? What if they're just different windows looking out onto the exact same hidden reality?
So what is the totality? Well, the core idea is that reality isn't a bunch of stuff moving through time. Instead, it's a single, timeless geometric structure, a vast, interconnected web of relationships. And this is the crucial part. It has hidden, higher dimensions that we can't directly see.
And this is the real game changer. The model suggests that if we look at reality through this new lens, the paradoxes don't really get solved. They just dissolve, they disappear. Because you can finally see the bigger picture they were a part of all along.
All right, so let's get into the specifics. How does this framework actually take on those 3 big mysteries? This is where the model really shows its power. Let's start with consciousness. The old question, how does mindless matter create a mind, has led us absolutely nowhere. So the totality just flips the whole question on its head. It asks, what kind of geometric pattern in this timeless structure is a mind? The idea is that consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's a fundamental property of that kind of complex pattern. The model uses this incredible metaphor. It describes a conscious life as a glowing lozenge of self-awareness. Now think about that for a second. The key insight is that the glow isn't created by the pattern, the glow is the pattern. Your consciousness is a permanent, intricate feature of reality's geometry. Okay, next up, that crazy energy mismatch, the vacuum catastrophe. Remember, our best theories predict an absolutely enormous amount of energy in empty space that just isn't there when we look. And just to really drive this home, the difference between what we predict and what we see is a 1 followed by 120 zeros. I mean, it is widely considered the single worst theoretical prediction in the entire history of physics. So where in the world did all that energy go?
According to this model, the energy isn't missing at all. It's just somewhere else. The vast majority of it exists in those hidden dimensions, the ones that are all curled up and too small for us to see. The tiny little bit of energy we measure here, in our world, is just a faint imprint, like a tiny spillover from that much greater reality.
And finally, entanglement. Einstein's spooky action at a distance. How can 2 particles, light years apart, be instantly connected? It seems to defy all logic. Well, the solution here is also geometric. Picture this. You take a piece of paper and you mark 2 dots far apart. They seem distant if you have to crawl along the surface, right? But what if you just fold the paper over? Now, if you can jump through that 3rd dimension, they're right next to each other. The model says entanglement is the exact same thing. The particles are far apart in our dimensions, but they are directly connected right next to each other in a higher one. So, get this. This means entanglement isn't an action at all. No signal is being sent. The particles aren't communicating faster than light. They are, quite literally, two aspects of a single, unified object that exists outside of time. Their spooky connection is just a static, timeless fact about the shape of reality itself.
So, where does all this leave us? I mean, this grand cosmic model isn't just about abstract physics. It's about your place, our place, in this vast, interconnected cosmic tapestry.
So what should you really take away from all this? First, that reality isn't a bunch of separate things, it's one single unified web. Second, that its biggest paradoxes are probably just illusions, born from our own limited perspective. Third, that you, yourself, are a kind of luminous wave of coherence. And finally, that your entire life, your past, your present, and your future, is a permanent, beautiful pattern woven into the very fabric of everything.
And maybe this is the most incredible idea of all. From this point of view, you aren't just some fleeting spark that comes and goes. You are, and you always will be, an improbable and beautiful knot in the geometry of forever.
Now, this framework doesn't give us all the answers, but it gives us a whole new set of incredible questions, and it leaves us with this one last provocative thought. If consciousness really is a wave of coherence, a pattern in the fabric of reality, what is its ultimate potential? What could we, one day, become?